Internal family systems is a modality of psychotherapy that is a wonderful aid to Christians, because if we have struggled with habits, hang-ups, or any kind of addiction as a believer, then we probably go through seasons where we are experiencing shame and guilt because we just don't understand why we do the things we don't want to do, and we can't do the things that we want to do. And let me help you out with that. The reason being is because we're all multiples. And back in the day, we used to label things as like disorders. So if somebody heard voices, that would be schizophrenia. Or now we have bipolarity being thrown around. And then, of course, you have PTSD, whatever. They all are just different emotional parts that are polarized with each other, working against each other, but believing that they're trying to help you internally with your decision making. The problem is we feel powerless when a part of us just really makes all the decisions, and then we suffer as a result because the consequence is grave. So if you have a devil and an angel on your shoulder, okay, the angel is going to be that manager type part that comes in every single day and it says, remember, you didn't eat so well yesterday, so today would be wise to have a salad. And then the devil part is going to be like, well, you know what? I've done really good at 5 days of abstaining from my favorite food, and I'm going to indulge because I deserve it. So it jumps in to save the day because there's been some kind of emotional unrest going along through the entire week, and finally it just needs to breathe. Same thing happens with whatever choice of sin we utilize. Sexting, texting, eating, starving, whatever it may be, we all are going to bring something into our salvation that we had prior to. And that just means the sanctification process is facing it head on, having a conversation with it, if you will. And actually, if you ask the part that wants to just indulge in whatever bad behavior it is, why it's doing what it's doing inside of you, or it's luring you to make this bad decision, then you'll actually get a response. And that's what we want. We want to understand that a relationship with ourselves is just as important as a relationship with our Savior, is just as important as a relationship with everybody else. We are not going to escape relationships. They are in every single thing we do. Relationships make the world go round. So what better way to get to know yourself than establishing relationship with all of your emotional parts, so you stop demonizing them, so you stop judging yourself for making a bad decision or having a problem or making a mistake. Because if you're not acquainted with the reasons why you want to indulge, then you need to befriend that part of you. And that will mean slowing down and saying, why is it that you actually want me to do this thing that causes me suffering and pain later on? And you will have to slow down and say, well, when did you start for me? And recovery is not for the weak. And when we say recovery, we are needing recovery from the things that had us look outside of ourselves for relief instead of going back in. IFS is the returning of you back to you. Because once you befriend that part that you judge or that you dislike about yourself, then you're extending it compassion and understanding. And there's no longer this stigma of, well, you need to just stop and cut it out. It's instead, yeah, I get that. Of course you would do that. That came by you honestly. And I'm wondering if you're tired of always trying to persuade my decisions to go in this direction, because we know the aftermath is too much to have to deal with the guilt and shame through. And when that part of us stops becoming a foe and we actually see it through the extension of grace and we reel it back in close to our heart matter, because Hebrews related relationally through heart, not through knowledge like the Greeks, because Jesus came for the sake that we would have peace here with him, that there would be no obstacle between he and us. And if we can take this part of us that we don't like and say, yeah, I need help with this, very specifically, after spending time with it in the presence of God, then he can take it and exchange it for a much better positive role. And then there's a level of peace that's sustainable inside the system, and it makes room for these other bad behaviors to surface so that they also can be set free.